Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. Let me just get myself all closed up here.
Feels like we haven't seen each other
I
for so
know.
long.
Here, that's for you. It's only a wee dopey thing now, but
no,
I'll
you
put it in the
should've
back
done
here.
that.
It's just a wee something.
Thank
Seeing
you
as
very
you came and
much.
picked me up and all.
You look amazing. So do you.
Can I pop this here? Oh, thanks. I literally, it's the first time I've trailed a
recording.
brush through it in days.
That's motherhood.
There's a Joe. I think Josh says to me before good night. He's like, "Oh, where are you going? You're brushing your hair." Excuse me. Hi. Well, so did you find it okay then?
Yes, I did.
Good stuff.
I didn't even need my wee camera thing that sits here. Just that is like the perfect place.
It's just right there.
isn't it?
Yeah. You can see it
So,
easily.
yeah. This is fun.
I know.
This is
I know. I'm
exciting.
actually really, really looking forward to
I
it. Whenever
know.
you text me with the idea, I was like,
You know, there's actually a woman I follow. She lives in, I think it's Glasgow. Is it this way? Am I going the right way?
yeah, that way. You're okay this way.
She lives in Glasgow and she started doing these kind of things, like just
Yeah.
having normal conversations with like normal women.
Yeah.
And I've been like so into it. It's been so interesting. Instead of just listening to like celebrities all the time and like all these influencers, like it's nice
It's nice to see
to
real people.
and real like stories
And
yeah,
like,
it's
and
just-
like I do, and like I says, like I
going the right
said
way.
to you before, yeah, you're going the right way. This is just such a terrible junction. The cars come out of nowhere. But like even on social media and all now, like I don't really follow much famous people anymore.
Yeah,
At
you were
all.
saying that, that's right.
Yeah, because it's just,
Oh, thank you.
it's
Sorry.
just, it's
Thank
not real. I more like gravitate towards seeing what real people are doing. It's more, it's like I really do. Like I came off Facebook and all about, I want to say like 2 years ago.
you. Yeah.
Because it's just full of, it's not real.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a different energy on it.
It is
Facebook,
not.
isn't it?
It really is. It's not real at all. And people only share what people want people to see.
Oh,
Where I'm not saying that I'm like such a nosy. I can't be nosy.
Yeah, no, I think we're
But
all nosy.
I can be nosy, and I'm not saying I want to go snooping all the time. But I'd much rather people share like both sides, the happy
Yeah.
and the sad.
Oh,
Because
totally.
if people are sharing they're happy all the time, it just makes you think, Jesus, what's wrong in my life? Because I'm having the shittest time
Oh my god, yeah.
recently,
Totally.
and all these people in front of me just seem to have such a wonderful life, and what's wrong with mine?
Exactly.
When life isn't going to be normal and happy and wonderful and colourful all the time.
It's really not.
People go through shitty times, but people just don't talk about that.
Exactly.
Do you know?
Yeah.
That's why I was always so, whenever I blogged that time, remember years ago?
I know. What happened with that when you talk about that actually?
Oh,
'Cause,
flip, yeah.
I mean,
I just...
yeah, when you talk about that. So,
I
don't know why you stopped that.
I did. Like, I stopped because, well, one, I was... Am I okay to swear on this, by the way? Because I swear like a fucking
Yeah.
sailor.
of course.
I
I'm
literally...
gonna park over here actually.
Yeah, it's dead on.
Instead of driving.
No bother.
I mean, I might as well park up. I have your coffee here as well.
Oh,
actually.
thanks. No, that's grand.
I feel like I'm like on my driving test or something.
Don't be daft. Flip me. If you were in my car, you need a crash helmet.
Oh shit. Oh god.
Crash test dummies.
I don't know if I'm doing the right thing here.
You are.
Oh my god.
You're going the right
Probably
way.
not.
You're grand. What do you call it? My car is stinking.
Oh, here. I was meant to clean this car like properly, you know, like hoover it and do all the things. And I didn't. So this morning I was freaking out with a plastic bag, throwing all the rubbish in.
Flip it every single time Josh gets into our car, he's like, Luca, seriously. Like, listen,
Oh my
like,
god.
the car just becomes my living room.
Yeah,
I
me
dump
too.
and grind.
Me too. I don't even like mean to make it so messy. It's the kids. I'm gonna blame the kids.
It is. No, but it is the case. It's impossible to keep a cling house and a clean car when you have
Yeah.
small children. It's
It is.
impossible.
It really is.
Anybody that says otherwise is just trying too hard. We're just trying too hard, I think.
We're perfect.
Yes. Flip 6. So you said you live in...
I thought you said something else there.
What?
I thought you were gonna say, did you fart?
Did you fart? Did you fart to her?
Oh my god. Like,
Excuse me.
Let's
Pardon me.
Parking space that has nice lighting.
Aye, nice lighting to
There we go. Actually,
make me look a wee bit alive.
Here we go. Yeah, we'll park here.
Yes.
Sun's beating right. Is
I
that
know.
okay?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's fine. I think I'm going to
This is
take.
a
I actually anticipated it to be a bit cooler today, but it's turned out quite nice.
I know.
This is the
Just trying to think. I turned this on.
spring coming in.
It's a new car. It's automatic. I've never drove automatic
Oh
before.
really?
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Driven on. I find them so much easier to drive.
There was no small ones, but
Oh,
right,
thank you
just
so
take
much.
what you want.
Oh, thank you very, very
I know
much.
it makes you go a bit crazy.
Should be
like
sitting here
myself.
just.
Oh.
Thank you. Yes, so what was I saying?
We're gonna come alive now.
I know we're going to come alive. We're actually going to start glitching here in a wee minute.
Yeah, you were saying like that was when do we like? How do we even connect?
I think well, I know we went to the same school, but we
Yes.
didn't really know each other back then. Although I have to say, this probably sounds really, really creepy. I always, like, I remember you from school. You were
Yeah.
friends with Karen.
Yes.
You were
yeah.
friends with Karen in school,
That's
so I always like sort of knew who you were through Karen, because then obviously I'm friends with Deborah.
Yeah.
And but I remember, like, during school, I don't know about you, but I really didn't enjoy school.
Right. Right.
I hated it so much, and I always remember like seeing you like passing you in the corridors and stuff, because then it was just whenever then I saw you at one of like the McParlin parties, and I was like, oh, there's that girl
Yes.
from our school, and I
Yeah.
always just remember like just seeing you about, and you always you looked so sad,
Did I?
and I don't know whether or not you felt sad at the time.
Amazing that you. Oh my god.
And I don't know whether or not you felt sad at the time, but I always remember looking,
Right.
I was like, she probably is like feeling the same way I'm feeling. She hates this place.
Really?
She probably hates this place.
God.
Because I know quite a lot of people,
Yeah.
well, in my year, and I don't know about other years, didn't enjoy school at all. It wasn't, for me, it just wasn't really a good environment.
Right. Like the whole duration of school.
Yeah, the whole duration of school, I think the way our school was, because obviously it was Catholic, all girls school,
Yeah.
to me that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why? I just felt too boxed in.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Too boxed in, and too it was too much of a angry environment. I mean, when you put 2,500 girls
Yeah.
in
I
the
know.
one
Yes, that's
vicinity, what's going to happen?
true.
What's going to happen
Yeah.
with no like meals there? I mean, no
To
meals.
balance that energy.
To balance the energy, and
Mm.
also to talk about other fucking things
Yeah.
other than bitching about people or just, you know, shite that really means nothing at
Yeah.
all. Who's not talking to who? Whose boyfriend's going with who now?
Yeah.
I know that's what teenagers do, and everybody has to
That's really
experience
sad
that.
when you look back.
Yeah.
You know, and that it's like that.
Yeah, I really didn't enjoy it, and it's really envious. I feel very envious of Josh. Josh went to Friends, and it's obviously
Friends? Oh,
yeah.
right. Sounds even.
Yeah, it's obviously, so it's co-ed, it's mixed, and also I think there's like mixed like religion and stuff there.
Right.
To me, like whenever he talks about school, he's such fond memories of school, and like I really just feel really
Yeah, like you.
like I missed out. I missed out on something.
Yeah.
Do you know? I don't know
Yeah.
what you thought about it back then.
No, I didn't like it right up till third year. I was the same. I felt really out of place, and I found like myself trying to fit in with like certain girls and trying to.
You would do
You
things
know,
to try and fit in
yeah.
when it's just not natural to you.
Yeah, it wasn't, and I always felt so different, and I'm sure you did too. But it was only really, you know what it was for me? Fourth year. I think it was fourth year or third year. Whenever we were actually, when did we start doing drama? Was that
would have
from
been-
very the start?
Well, I think we did drama from the very start, but then maybe fourth and fifth year when it's
It's when
GCSE,
we
you
did
start to do it
GCSE.
more, and then
Yes.
A level, then after
Well,
that.
then it was around that time once we started doing drama. I loved it. Like that was my favorite topic.
Yeah.
And you're the same because you love drama too.
Yeah, yeah.
We have like
Yeah.
such similar like backgrounds
I
this
know.
way. Like we love the theatre and we loved all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. And I
And
think
Everything it's almost like we get what
yeah,
some people don't get, because your mind's a lot more open to it.
yeah,
Do you know?
yeah.
It makes me laugh though, because like, did you do media studies as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah,
For
I got
A-level
that too.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. McDowell.
I love it. Mr. McDowell.
Yes. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. But see, like when we're watching like theatre, or we're watching a film, or watching just whatever, I think it's because you have the media studies background, you start to dissect it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know? And then I enjoy conversation that makes you fucking think.
Yes.
Do you know?
Yeah. Totally.
And just the other day, actually, me and Josh were watching Peaky Blinders, and there's no spoilers or anything being given away, but there's a scene in it where the aunt starts to believe that she can see like spirits and whatnot. And I said to Josh about it, so because Josh would be very closed off about those type of things. I mean, he was brought up Christian, he believes in God, he believes in all that. And I say, so Josh, like, do you believe that people can see spirits? Do you believe that there are clairvoyants and people that can see those things? And he's like, well, it's never happened to me, so no. I'm like, but how can you say it? Just, but I can base an opinion just on something that's never happened to you.
Yeah.
You know, so I said, so you believe in God, right? Oh yeah. But you've never seen him. It, her, could be. He's like, yeah. Like, so it's fair to say that maybe there are people out there that are just more susceptible to seeing things that other people can't. Because if you believe in a God that you've never met or never seen, how can you say that there's people out there that haven't seen spirits or whatnot just because you haven't?
Yeah.
And we got into like a really, really deep conversation about it, and I love it. Like, I don't want to sway people's beliefs at all, but I love making people think.
Yeah. Just to be open-minded, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it is very, you know, unknown.
Yeah.
Unknown.
And then we started talking about like our idea of heaven, like where we go after we die. And I said, so what if heaven isn't just a place in the sky? Because he said as well, I said, so where do you believe we go after we die? And he says, well, he believes there's either up or down.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what if heaven is simply just right here on earth, and when we die we simply just stay here and we carry on life as normal and amongst the people that we love, just watching over them, where there's complete peace, no pressure to make money, to work, to conform.
Yeah.
What if you can just literally live in harmony, just being with familiarity?
Right.
Do you know? And then of course Josh, he was like, well, with that logic then, say I'm sitting on the toilet, what if my granddad's standing there beside me? Like, for God's sake. I said, well, is your granddad standing beside you when you're having a shite anyway? No.
Yeah.
So like,
Hilarious.
we started getting into those type of things.
Yeah.
Do you know? And then, but yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting. So interesting. Especially that you're talking about all that, because lately we're going on a tangent, but I'll get back to our like topics of conversation. But yeah, like I've had a real awakening as well with all of that too. And it's funny because it's the complete opposite of what you're going to expect me to say. Complete opposite.
I'm intrigued now.
Yeah. So you know me, obviously. Like, I've always been very spiritual, very into, you know, like the Reiki and you know, even crystals and all those things, which are now termed as like New Age, right? So
when there's probably
like a New Age
older than humans themselves.
Exactly. But this is the thing, right? So all my 20s, I was really into all that, and then since becoming a mum, I don't know what happened, but especially this past year, I have felt like the presence of Jesus in my life, and it has been so, I can't even put it into words, but I have felt him around me, and I felt him trying to communicate with me, you know, in a way that's like, he's like calling me to like, hello. So this past year, I was like, you know, I want to go to the church. I want to, you know, obviously we know all this stuff about the church, growing up and all the things that came out and stuff. So there was always that stopping me from going to the church. Yeah. But I was trying to be open-minded about it, and you know, not every, you know, we can't, like, what's that saying? You can't
tar everyone with the same brush.
Yeah. And if I felt that feeling, a call, so why not go for it? So I did. I went to the church, and I just had this like awakening of being so close to God, and I'm still on that journey right now, but it has been so like eye-opening that he's like there It is such a beautiful feeling.
So, like, what happened? Did you have a dream? Did you have...
It wasn't one, just, it was like a whole series. I just felt very, as you know, like with motherhood, there's times I find that it feels isolating.
Yeah.
You know, and you feel kind of alone in it sometimes. And I felt like that this past year especially. Like, this was probably more of a year of like, almost like, I don't even know how to explain it, but just becoming more, not even going out with friends, you know, just sort of just
really
being
focusing
really
on you.
Yeah, with the kids, me and the kids, like that was it. And it still is like that, but it was to the point where, you know, it did feel a wee bit lonely at times. So I think during that, and then obviously life and things that happen in life, you know, I think I had to be in that kind of, I wouldn't say darkness, but that kind of period of no noise to hear. And that's what it felt like there was no noise anymore, so I heard. But that's another conversation. Like, that is so interesting, isn't it? But
it's so fascinating.
It is so fascinating.
It really is.
I'm still on that journey, so I don't want to get too into it. But it just, you know, it's good to speak about it as well for other people that might be, you know, going through. Because I mean, it's crazy where life takes you. Like,
really
a couple of years ago, I was so deep in, you know, not that any of this is right or wrong. It's all where you are in your life and what you feel called to. But I was really deep into like the crystals, and now I don't really want to, you know, use them as much or use them at all.
It's probably a case of you just don't feel the need.
Yeah,
it's not that. I mean, you just never know, because you might gravitate back towards them at some stage. You might come away from them. It's like you're allowed to flow.
Yeah, and explore.
I mean, you're not barricaded to one single avenue as a person, and anybody that tries to do that, I just think it's too restricting.
Yeah.
Rather than just sitting back and allowing yourself to flow naturally towards what you're being drawn to.
Yeah, totally.
At that moment. And there's nothing to say either. I mean, like, I'm not like going against what you're saying in your journey or anything, but I very much believe, and I really do think that, you know, God, Jesus, the crystals, the spiritual side of that, go very much hand in hand too. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, God created everything, earth, air, fire and water, here for us to utilize, to use, to live. So who's to say that all of that can't be connected as well?
It's amazing to think about. It's such a
you know,
topic of,
there's
so many things to talk about with it, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. Amazing. And so what church did you gravitate towards?
So it's one based where I am, close to where I am.
Is it just normal Christian church, or is it Catholic church? Just
yeah,
all round.
All round. Yeah. Just thought, why not? You know, it has been like amazing since, you know. It's just been a lovely feeling, and yeah, definitely.
And did you speak to like people within the church, like elders, is it they're called, or pastor? Yeah,
and they've been so lovely, so lovely.
Brilliant.
Yeah, but let's get back to our conversation.
That's my fault. I keep going off on the tangents.
No, so I obviously the whole point of like this, you know, doing this is, like I said to you, you know, growing up, I was so into like watching, you know, like documentaries about Britney Spears, you know, celebrities, and just wanting to know what was in their mind and why they are the way they are. And then obviously with interviews as well, like I'm sure you're the same. Are you interested in like hearing people's, you know, interviews and just listening to, obviously growing up it was all celebrities, but now it's, you know, you want to hear real people. I'm a firm believer that no matter how boring you think you are as a person, every person on this planet, your man there even, has a story. Yeah, totally.
Everybody has a story. And you most people think to themselves, oh sure, you know, when you say how are you, or what are you doing with your life kind of thing, most people are inclined to think, I don't really know how do I answer that. But then when you delve in and delve deeper and in a natural way talk, everybody has experiences, everybody has a story and some wisdom that other people can take from it. Everybody's interesting, no matter how boring they think they are.
Exactly. No, totally. And that's the whole point of this, like, especially mums. Like, I have a real love for like mothers, and I just think we are so I don't want to say it, but I feel like sometimes we're so underappreciated or not like respected enough.
Yeah, you can't really find the words to describe it.
It's a weird, and we're just so special. And see, when I see mums, especially when I'm out and I see like a mum with the pram or the trolley and with her kids or kid, and I'm just like, if only she knew like how important she is, and hope she does know, but maybe she doesn't. And I just want this sort of space to be like a time for mums just to like talk and share their story and like feel special and important. And, you know, that we are friggin' celebrities in our own right. You know, we are in our own story.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and
there should be medals for motherhood.
Yeah, I just find mums to be so special. I really like, I want to hug them all the time. I don't know if it's because I have felt like the hard times with motherhood, and I'm like, I really just want to hug all the mummies. It literally
is a case of, I think, I mean, you know, before you had kids yourself, you know how much you loved your mummy, but I think as soon as you have a child, you know, people say it's something that changes your brain chemistry. It fucking does. As soon as that child is plopped onto you, you're literally like, whoa.
Yeah.
And
life
then
changes.
you look at your own mummy and you realise just exactly how she felt about you, because that's how you feel about your child. And also as well, one thing I discovered is while I was a child growing up, I was watching my mummy grow up. Yeah. And you never think of that, because you always just remember as a child looking to your mummy as the person that knows everything, the person that can fix everything. And it's a big pressure to have. And again, it's nothing anybody can even come close to empathizing with until they have a child. Totally. Until they have a child, they just don't know. And that's not to be a gatekeeper of how it feels or anything.
No.
It literally is. You don't know how it feels until until you have a child. No, until someone else is more important than you. What's that saying? You know, you don't really know life until that is the case, and I feel like that's so true. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what the point of this is. Like, I want mums to have like a wee space, and then also the idea of it being somewhere, you know, like YouTube or somewhere that it kind of stays forever. Obviously, we don't, you know, if there's anything you don't want to share, like, or even if you watch the video and you're like, don't be putting that up, actually, like, I won't. But if you're happy, obviously, like, I would love to have a place on YouTube just to put them, so that, I don't know, like 30 years from now, like, who knows, that our kids might want to like watch something that we've talked about and be like inspired by what we're saying. Yeah, exactly. Like, how beautiful is that? It is so good, because as well, I mean, as life gets on and like the monotony of daily life and routine and stuff, you never fully get to express to your child exactly just how important they are to you, because you're too busy making sure that they're fed, making sure that they're clean, making sure that they're dressed, and, you know, getting things done, just doing like daily mothering things, getting the washing done, doing the dishes, cleaning the house, blah 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 blah. So there's never the time just to sit and actually have those deep conversations with your child. So if they can have that to look back on and be like, well, my mummy actually thought of that about me, even when she was shouting at me for smearing my hands all over the walls, or I don't know, flooding the bathroom. Lachlan flooded the bathroom the other week. Oh, seriously? Sure, it's me. He flooded the bathroom the other week. Oh, no. He turned the tap, he put the plug in the sink and he turned the tap on, and I think he must have went in to get a toy, because he likes making like swimming pools in the sink, and we just let him crack on, because he just, it's a boy thing, so loves it. So I think he put the plug in, turned the tap on full blast, went in to get himself a toy, got distracted, started playing with something else, and all I heard was So of course me and Josh charged up the stairs. He goes, I'm sorry. I was like, look, I forgot. Water spilling all over the place. I was like, oh my god. Every towel in the hot press came
oh really?
all over the floor, and I was like, why? Oh, but it's something like that to look back on and laugh. Oh yes, totally. Oh flip, it was hilarious. Plenty of those times to look back on. There's so many with my kids too. It's like, at the time it's like, I know, why are you doing this? Why is yours flooded the bathroom? Showed stuff down the toilet. I mean, when they're in the bath, it's like a tsunami. You know. And I'm just stopping. I'm like, don't splash, please don't splash. Obviously their kids have to splash, but I mean, and did the slide up and down the bath? Yes. And does the water just go everywhere like that there? Yeah. I know, they think it's one big water slide. Yeah. It's hilarious. But yeah, so let's bring it back. Let's talk about
Like, did you always want to be a mum?
No.
Like, was that no?
Mm-mm.
No.
No. I for years and years and years I was always, I'm never having children. I was very much selfish to a certain degree. I just wanted to do my own thing and live like my life with not having to answer to anybody, not having to plan, just literally get up, go off, do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And for years and years and years I was always, I'm never having kids. Never ever having kids. And even when I got into are you okay? Even whenever I got into my first sort of serious relationship, even before Josh, and like we were engaged and everything, that's a whole other story. But even still, whenever I was with him, I just don't want to have kids.
Yeah.
I don't want kids with you. Do you know?
And do you think
you would have thought that would have been a red flag?
Right, yeah.
You know, what were you going to say?
Where do you think that came from then? Was it a fear of like bringing kids into the world, or was it just you just wanted to focus on yourself? Or
I just wanted to focus on myself. And then with him, it was a case of how can I possibly bring a child into your chaos? And you know, because I mean, it was just him, like it was his mum and everything, and I was just like, I cannot, because then I would be tied to you literally for life. It was almost like in the back of my head there was a wee voice that was like, this isn't you, this isn't going to be you for the rest of your days. Yes, you're engaged, but no, something was off, and I just kept sort of, you know, like shoving it away. And then obviously that ended, and I met Josh, and I really think that whenever you meet the right person and the person you know you're going to spend the rest of your life with, your ovaries just go.
Oh my god, yeah.
I really do think. And because like I got pregnant with Lachlan only about maybe me and Josh were only together about a year.
Really? Is that really?
Yeah.
Right. I thought you were together. Actually, well then, no, that wouldn't be. Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure it was only about a year.
Head, I thought you were together longer, but then I'm thinking we only knew each other from like what, 2005 or something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean,
that's crazy.
I met Josh just like a few months after that relationship ended, and I wasn't looking for anybody. I wasn't in my head I was like, no, done, single for the rest of my life. Can't be arsed with this anymore. Then Josh came along, and I was just like, holy shit, you're just everything. I still to this day, and it sounds really cheesy, but I've always said Josh is my angel. Like I always, you know, call him my angel.
That's funny because when I first met you, you were that's all you spoke about that night, about Josh. And is he a rugby player or something?
Yeah.
So you were telling me all about this, and I thought, oh, you're so in love, like. And I still remember that, like how not obsessed, but how infatuated you were. How you really like loved him.
Like I never.
It's so lovely, actually, when you think about it.
Like it's so weird because I am mad about Josh, but see to his face, I'm like,
oh yeah. Is that a woman thing?
I think so.
Try to act all like don't care.
I know, like don't care. But like he definitely did. He came into my life like at that time, and I think it was just the right time. And no joke, I knew very, very quickly. And even at the time, I was like, you're fucking crazy. How can you feel like this about someone so fast? Yeah. I was like, I know he is the one. And then like not soon after, I was pretty much just like in my head, I was like, I will have a baby with this man. Right.
Wow, it just changed.
Literally, like it was just like someone flicked the light switch in my head. It was like, you will have a baby with this man.
Right.
So I think a lot of having kids has got to do with whenever you meet the right person. It's just, it's subconscious.
Yeah.
Do you know?
And what, and when you got pregnant then, how was that whole experience of like finding out and like pregnancy? Like how did that, was it hard, or did you have a smooth pregnancy, like the whole thing about that?
No, I didn't really have a smooth pregnancy. I remember the very day I found out, and I didn't really have a notion. I actually thought that I was due because you know you get the sore boobs, you get all the motions and everything, And it was actually Josh said to me, because we were just chatting one evening on the phone. We weren't living together by this stage even, and I was like, oh my tits are aching. Do you know? I think my period's coming. And he just said, he goes, have you done a test? And I went, no. Sure, why would I? And he goes, it might be worth just doing a test, just to check. He knew. He said, well, he told me afterwards. He knew before I did.
Right.
He just had this feeling.
Wow.
So of course I went into work the next day, and my arse was making buttons. Like I couldn't wait. I was like, so I went out on my lunch break to Boots, and I bought a test, and I brought it back to work and took myself into the toilets. I'd done the pregnancy test while I was in work. And literally no sooner had my pee touched the stick and it flashed up the 2 lines. Right. It was so strong. I barely got my trousers up, and I was falling out the door with my phone, running around the side of the building to phone him. And I was like, Josh, and he was in work too, and he couldn't really express his elation over it. But I phoned him, and he goes, hello, and he answered straight away. And I went, Josh, I've done a test. And he goes, and I went, Josh, I'm pregnant. He goes, because I think there was maybe a client in front of him, and he was literally like, brilliant, brilliant, fantastic, excellent, right, brilliant. You're trying not to like, because he was in work, and I was just like, I'm pregnant, and so yeah, like he was obviously delighted. Josh was ready to be a daddy.
Right.
He was just ready. You know, he knew he wanted kids as well, and told my mum and dad that night, told his mum and dad a couple of days after, and then like literally my pregnancy symptoms started quite fast. I was really sick. I was like, the morning sickness was awful, and it was sometimes debilitating. Yeah. Like it was just a friend of mine, Rhonda, would actually tell you. She was my like supervisor at the time in work. There was one morning I was actually late into work. I phoned her. I said, Rhonda, I've tried to get my makeup done, but I keep throwing up, and I keep the tears are streaming down my face. I'm just gonna go get myself a shower and come into work in Miss Greg's. Basically, came in just leggings, jumper, not properly dressed, no makeup at all. And I came in that day, and she goes, oh God, she could tell my eyes were puffy and everything. And she would still talk about that to this day, about how sick I was. Wow. And then just sick in work. And then the sickness lasted right up until maybe, I want to say 18 weeks. Then I did have a bit of a break, and it was quite relieving. That's when your hair starts to go lovely and thick, your skin clears up.
To glow a bit.
You start to glow. And
it's a great part of pregnancy. I miss the pregnancy glow. I know. My face just filled out, and my hair just like grew longer and thicker, and
your nails grow a mile a minute. Yes. Like I've always had crap nails all my life, like nails like paper. Yep. And then when I got pregnant, I was like, I can do a natural French manicure on this. Yes.
But in saying that was only with Nathan.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What were you like with Beth?
Oh, I was.
It was just not. Isn't it fascinating how every pregnancy is different, even though they come from the same person? Yeah. You know?
Definitely felt the difference. Like I wasn't sick with Nathan, but I was sick with Beth. Like,
really
sick, yeah. Like you said, like the first 3 months, I was crawling. You know that like hangover sickness.
The hangover that never leaves you.
Yeah, it was just constant. It was like morning, night. It was just all the time.
I don't know why they call it morning sickness when it lasts all day.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's how I knew it was a girl. It's like so different from, you know, the boy kind of experience I had.
But even at that, your whole pregnancy and birth experience with Nathan was so much different to Beth. Was your way.
Oh yeah.
Your way completely.
It's amazing, and that's exactly what I want to talk about, like birth and everything, like your experience with that, and like how did you find it, and did it go your way?
No. I mean, I really thought that like I would be the complete zen, wonderful, natural birthing mother. I mean, no one prepares you for this. I mean, people will say, oh yeah, it's sore, but they don't tell you how sore. They don't tell you I mean, everybody's birth experience is different. Some women, when the baby pops out, other women are in labour for days. But like, I mean, there was a lot of that factored in, you know, leading up to the birth as well. Josh got really badly, he slipped 2 discs in his back. And I'm not saying because of that my birth went that way, because it wasn't at all. My birth could have gone that way anyway.
Yeah.
But, you know, Josh blames himself an awful lot on the way my birth went.
Right.
Because he said, well, in his words, at the time when I should have been lifted and led by him, I was lifting and laying him.
Oh.
But I mean, I'd do it again.
Yeah.
He slipped 2 discs. He slipped 2 discs in his back, and he lost the use of his legs. He couldn't walk at all, and he was on all sorts of medication. Then
Is he okay now?
He's okay now. Yeah. He had one ambulance called because he took a bad reaction to one of the tablets he was on. He broke out in literal lumps. His head swelled up, and I nearly gave birth there and then. And then 2 hospital visits for that, and then he just, like, he physically couldn't put one leg in front of the other, and he was on crutches dragging his feet.
And that was towards the end of your pregnancy?
That was about the last month of my pregnancy. And then just like helping him to the toilet, helping him shower, helping him dress. He couldn't do anything, God love him. I mean, he just was in so much pain, you know. And then obviously, so we were actually kind of hoping that I would maybe go overdue a wee bit.
Right.
Purely so we could buy Josh more time to get back on his feet again. That was only, and I was quite prepared. I was like, yeah, I don't mind if I go overdue, because if you can get back on your feet again, that's me, because I'm going to need all the help I can get after the baby's born. So lo and behold, right on my due date, I started getting into labour.
Right.
And don't know how, I think it was just adrenaline, but Josh managed to drive me to the hospital, still with his crutches, and he's still hobbling with his crutches, but he managed to drive.
Wow.
And so we got to the hospital. They just kept me in. It almost seemed to happen so quickly, like the pain started, contractions started.
Right, so it all started naturally then, like it came on without any...
1 o'clock in the morning on my due dates when I started having like early contractions. And I wasn't prepared for how painful it was going to be.
And you know what's funny though? We try to downplay it, and we try to, I think, like, we're trying to like make mums feel like not scared, but the fact that we're downplaying pain, I think we should be empowered by the pain, you know?
Yeah, we should
be
absolutely
saying, you know,
say
it's painful, but you can do it. Like, you can totally hold that pain, because it's true.
It's true. And even if you do have pain relief, epidural, it doesn't fucking matter.
Doesn't matter.
You're still doing it.
Totally.
You're still doing it. I mean, people can tolerate pain at different levels.
Yeah.
I very quickly discovered I don't have a very good pain threshold, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. Because it is wonderful that we live in a world now where the pain can be helped and managed. Because if I was back in maybe like the 1800s and I had nothing, I probably would still be pregnant, because I'd be like, no, this baby's not coming out, this is too sore. You know. But it just wasn't an all-round good experience for me.
Did you get the epidural sort of right away, or did they have to wait until
pretty much right away.
Got there?
Yeah, well, whenever we got there, then I was due in for a sweep that day anyway, and they said, look, you're here, you're obviously at the start of labour, we'll just keep you here. And I was like, oh my God, for that. And so they brought me up to the delivery unit suite and tried me on, you know, the diamorphine injection first of all. That made me violently ill. Violently ill. And I don't even think I was asked if I wanted an epidural.
Right.
The nurse just was like, we're just going to give you an epidural. I went, do whatever you want.
Oh, well then.
I was like, do whatever you want. And like, I have to say, the staff were just fucking brilliant.
Amazing.
I couldn't fault them at all. They were amazing, and they really are just, they don't get enough recognition either.
No, definitely not.
For what they do. But got the epidural, and I mean, I don't know about you, but did you ever have an epidural with Nathan?
Yes, with Nathan, yeah.
It doesn't take the pain away, it just takes the sting off it.
Yes, you can feel everything.
You can still feel everything, yeah.
Because I thought it like numbed you completely, where you can't feel anything, but
I still felt everything.
I felt him pushing his foot on my rib cage to get out. Yes, he was like this.
He's like, yeah,
I'm coming. You know, he was literally pushing himself off me to get out. Yeah. And I remember every feeling, you know. But it just took the sting away. It just took that like edge off.
Yeah, the initial sting. and then so got the epidural and lay there just contracting on and off, and I think at one point I just ended up naked.
Right.
I just didn't
Yeah,
care,
as you do.
because because when you're in pain as well, you feel sick, your temperature and everything.
Yeah.
And I was just like, just get everything off me.
Yeah.
I just want to be free. I just want to be free. So I literally just stripped off me, and I was laying there, and then I remember I got the urge. I was like, I need to push. You feel like you're going to crap yourself, you know. I was like
a pressure.
Yeah, I was like, I think I really need to push. And so the midwife goes, okay, yeah, if you feel you need to push, then start pushing. I think it was 9.5 by this stage.
Right.
And so I started to push, and the midwife then says, stop pushing. You need to stop pushing, because she'd obviously felt something was wrong.
Right.
So and you know yourself, you can't stop pushing because your body's pushing.
Yeah, it's doing it for you.
So I was like, I can't stop pushing. And she rung the buzzer or whatever it was, and then loads of other people came in, and Lachlan's head was up around the wrong way, and if I had carried, he'd have had risk of breaking his neck coming out. So they had to put the vacuum in to turn his head around the right way, and then continue pushing. But by that stage, so they got his head turned, and then they said, okay, you can continue then with your pushing. By that stage, I was done.
Right.
People talk about you hit the wall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I can't.
It feels like you can't go on.
Yeah. I was like,
Such a real thing.
Can't do this. I literally I hit the wall. So they said, look, we're going to have to take you to theatre, because I mean, to be fair, Lachlan's head was massive. And even throughout the scans, they knew his head was going to be big, and so I had to be taken to theatre, have an episiotomy.
Right.
And so it was a spinal episiotomy, and then get the forceps to get him out. So they did that. Thankfully, he got here safely. He was and he still is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Do you know? But then again, see that part I would do all over again.
Right.
See the after effects of birth.
Yeah.
Again, that's another thing nobody tells you about.
Right. And what do you mean?
So,
like the pain, or just the feeling, like the emotions that come?
all of it. So for one, then so I got a wound infection.
Right.
My bladder stopped working. So there was two, and there was, the normal like UTI that happens in your bladder, but then there was another infection in my bladder as well, called ESBL, which can't be treated with a normal antibiotic. So I had to get a different antibiotic for that. I had to wear a catheter for 3 weeks because the bladder retention. So it's almost like like a water balloon that's been overstretched.
Yeah.
My bladder had to be trained to come back down because I couldn't pee by myself. So, I mean, thankfully that's okay now. Then got a hematoma behind my stitches. And
I don't even know all these terms, but it sounds intense.
Yeah, it was. But you know what? Considering like all of that happening and the way the birth went.
Yeah.
Within maybe like 10 or 12 weeks, I started to feel normal again. And that shocked me because I thought I would be in pain and just a lot longer. But the body is so resilient and powerful to completely go back to normal again.
Yeah.
Do you know?
It's amazing. I just finds its way.
It really, really does. And I definitely do think like a whole lot of that then contributes to a lot of mental health problems that women suffer after birth. It's no joke.
Did you find support afterwards, and I mean like support from all sort of areas? Did you feel supported afterwards, after birth?
Yes and no. I rejected a lot of support because I was adamant that I didn't need help. But that was denial.
Yeah.
And
I feel
that was complete denial for me. Josh knew how I was really feeling because he obviously we lived together.
Right.
But I mean, he knew. I mean, I very obviously had postnatal depression. I very obviously had postnatal anxiety. I mean, people don't realize there's postnatal depression, postnatal anxiety, postnatal psychosis, postnatal vertigo. And then women can have PTSD from birth too.
Yeah.
Do you know? And like there's so many things postnatally that can happen to a woman after they give birth.
Yeah.
So I had the depression, the anxiety, maybe a bit of PTSD just from the absolute bloodbath that was my birth.
Yeah.
Do you know? And you know, when like your health visitor and stuff comes out and they're always asking you how's your mood, at that time I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine, I'm absolutely fine, I'm coping perfectly, I'm grand, I don't need any help. So I was petrified that if I admitted how I was really thinking, that they'd be like, she's a fucking crazy horse, and they would have took my baby away.
It's so sad.
Like I was petrified they would take my baby away.
Things like that. It must be a universal thing.
Must be. And then not only that, like the irrational thoughts that race through your head, like this wee baby is placed in your arms, you're now responsible for this baby for the rest of your life. All I could think about was, Jesus Christ, if I leave him for even 2 minutes, he's gonna die.
Yeah, the anxiety.
Yeah. The anxiety, thinking,
and you
Jesus, he's
just
gonna
worry
die.
all the time, you know, especially first time mum. Like, I don't think no one prepares us for that part of it, you know, the real worry that you feel.
No.
And even the daddies too, like, they must go through their own sort of like fears and things, like how new it is for them. And I don't think they even get like that voice to like express that. It's like kind of like it's not really spoken about either.
No, and it is possible for men to develop a post-birth depression type of thing. Well, because their word's been flipped upside down as well. They have a child now too. Their wife is now either in pain or like she's
not the person she was
she's
before.
Not the person that she was before. Her attention solely focused on this wee baby now. Do you know? And things change for the daddy too.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's a very real thing. But I mean, like I have to say that I really did struggle.
Right.
In the very beginning, I really did struggle, and I look back on it with a lot of regret, sympathy for myself. Do you know? And
at the time when you were in it, did you know that you were going through that, or is it only when you looked back that you're like, oh my god, I was depressed, or had anxiety? You know, was it in retrospect, kind of, you know, in hindsight, do you see like...
Yes and no. Right. I knew to a certain degree I would feel differently. Yeah. I just didn't anticipate it would be that much. I thought what I was feeling was normal, motherly, when actually it's not that it's not normal. It was just tenfold. Oh yeah. It's natural to worry about your child, but I literally could not leave him even to go to the toilet. It's just the love as well, isn't it? It's just the pure like obsession, like the love you feel for this wee baby and how much you're totally responsible for it. And I think it's overwhelming to the point where it's like overwhelming. It consumes you, where you're so, you know, worried all the time about their well-being. Oh god, yeah. I mean, I remember looking at Lachlan and I remember thinking to myself, I would quite happily kill for you. Oh yeah. And I think every mother, if you're a good mother, I think that's like a normal thing, you know. I would quite happily for them. I'm gonna cross my legs here. I would quite happily, and that's a scary thought too. Yeah. What you're prepared to do. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're like a lion, you know, with your cubs. Yeah. I was actually showing my kids yesterday. Yeah. You know, because I kiss them all the time, and I was like, I'm going to show you, I don't know why, but this made sense to me, but I was like, I want to show you a video, you know, on YouTube of a lion and its wee babies, and that's like you know, you're the cubs and I'm the mummy lion, and you know, the way the mummy lion was licking the babies, and that's what I was letting them see, like, it's all love, like, and I'm annoying you because I just walk up and grab them and kiss them all the time. I literally, do you ever fear one day you might just gobble them up? I know, they're just so cute. They're so cute. I still to this day, like, Lachlan, he'll go to me mummy snuggles, and there's times I'm just like, come on, just sit beside me, son. Yeah. Maybe if I feel a bit too like completely like enclosed that day, like you've literally touched me too much this day. Sometimes I just need a wee bit of space. But then like 9 times a day I'm like, come on, Amber, and I just sit and I sniff him. Yes. I sniff his hair, cause see there on kids that see right there, that's their scent, and that never changes. See, even whenever they're an adult, if you sniff there, it smells exactly the same. Yeah. Ooh, and I always I go to right there on their head, and I say there as if I have 2 kids of one, on his head, and I still like I dig my nose in. I'm like like that. Oh, like, I'm gonna try that. Yeah. I sniff my kids. Like, that's my baby. Yeah. That's my like, and his hair and all. I'm just I could eat you. Totally. And
Actually, talking about that, like body image and things like that, because that's another topic I'm really fascinated with. You know, how your body changes, and even just how your mind changes and how you change after you have a baby. How different you feel as a person. And in a way, you're kind of mourning like that person you were before being a mummy, and there is that like that no one speaks about, no one prepares you for, like that transition period where you don't know who you are, but you don't know who you're going to be, and it's like this really weird time in your life, and you're trying to find your identity again. So it's like you're dealing with all these things, like your new body, and you know, looking at yourself in the mirror and not seeing what you saw before, and having to like kind of,
it's a complete identity crisis. It really is. And then you feel guilty as well for still wanting to, because I mean, I always say to women, you know, yes, you're a mummy, but you're still you. But for me, when I'm thinking about myself, I find it hard to still acknowledge that I'm still a person. I'm still Luca. I'm still allowed to dress how I want, whether it looks like I'm a mummy or not. I'm still allowed to do my hair and my makeup as if, you know, the way it might not be mumsy looking. Do you know? And I'm still allowed to be me.
You're still you.
Whereas I find myself just constantly in mum mode. Like this is the first time I've made an effort in yonks.
A long time.
And whenever I do, it's like you feel guilty for it, because I don't look like a mummy. I look like just me.
It's so crazy.
Does that make sense?
I went through like so much of that too. It's only recently now that I'm, you know, just starting to like dress up a bit more, and if it's for me, you know,
get
and
you back again.
But you know what's funny when you say that, get you back again? It's like I don't even want to be who I was before my kids. Like that version of me before. Like I said to Johnny, if someone paid me £1 million to go back to the person I was before kids, I wouldn't take that money, because the person I was before kids, obviously, God, I'm not like putting her down. Like I love her.
I love her.
That was free girl. But the person I am now, like coming out the other end, which I feel like I'm starting to see the light. That sounds really like messed up, but I mean it in a way. Like for me, you know, you kind of go through that. It's like a caterpillar coming into a butterfly. Like you're going through this like big change in your life, and then you get out sort of the other end, and you're like, this person I am now, like I just think my kids have made me such a better person. Like in a way where like I'm more compassionate, like understand people more.
You've more empathy,
and just like more, I just feel more like raw in myself, where I'm like, and I want to be better, but like in a different way. Whereas before kids, it was like I want to be famous, I want to be like, I want to prove something, I want to be something. And I think that like kind of ties in with like, you know, like I don't know, all the things to talk about, like Gabor, or what's his name, Gabor Mate talks about like childhood, you know, your sort of life and traumas and all those things, like your search for
acceptance,
to be something,
and search for acceptance, search for the wrong type of attention.
And that's who I was before kids, but now after kids, like it's like this is the real me. Like I feel like they just took all these like layers off me and like an onion, and now I'm like,
it's
this
almost
is
like
who I really am. Like I want to thank them every day for
it puts things into perspective a whole lot more whenever you have kids. Like things that you once deemed so effing important aren't important anymore. And I mean, like for me, like I still have dreams and aspirations. Do you know? I mean, I wouldn't say no to one day being a famous actress.
Oh no,
I wouldn't say no one day to being a famous actress, but you know, is it a priority for me right now? No. And
it's coming from a different place probably now than it did before. Like now it's probably coming from a real, and I'm not speaking on your behalf, but for me, like, you know, I would still love to do, you know, acting or, you know, any sort of performance, but it wouldn't be because I want to be famous and want to prove something. It would be because I love it. And
because you love doing it.
What is important.
You love doing it, you're good at it. And it's something that makes you happy. And whenever I think of those things, like if I did become a famous film star, whatever, I don't think of, you know, the materialistic things behind it. What I think of is like making Lachlan's life better and easier. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Not in
the drive's different for it.
Making like if I did like star in films, get a massive film room, get a big payout from it. But I think of, right, okay, Lachlan can go to, he can maybe buy his first house, he can do this, he can do that, he can do whatever. Like, I see, like,
for them.
Where we live now, even if I did, you know, win the lottery or whatever, I wouldn't move away. We love that house. That's our home.
That's how we feel too.
It's just home. It's home. And money doesn't buy happiness, but it would buy like stability.
Definitely.
And just it's another wee tangent.
No, but I totally get it. Like, it all relates so much. And that actually kind of ties in with like another topic. Obviously, I was like, I'll keep it 40 minutes, but it's really hard to keep things 40 minutes.
I know, it's hard to keep things 40 minutes. There's so much to talk about.
But there was another thing I was really wanting to talk about, because I find this so important because of how the world is now. I find like social media is a big thing, and I mean, especially on kids and young people, and we didn't have that growing up. So now that that's here and it's not going anywhere, it's going to just keep getting bigger and worse. And obviously, like, there's great things to it.
Yes.
You know, I think of my kids and I'm like, right, and this is another reason for this, the whole point of this, you know, you really want them to not be influenced in a way, you know, by the wrong people. Like, you want them to listen to their own voice and be themselves, and like not get sucked into this phone.
Not be afraid.
And not be afraid.
Not be afraid to be themselves. It's
so what's your thing on that, like social media and all this sort of...
I say this constantly, social media is the devil. It really and it's hard for us, our generation, because we're kind of the last generation to grow up in both worlds. We know what it was like before social media, and we know what it's like now with social media. We've lived in both timelines.
That's so crazy.
Do you know what I mean?
Like,
it was whenever we were teenagers is when, you know, you had like MSN, Bebo. That's when maybe like Facebook would have just started. Do you know? So we've experienced both. And I really do worry for Lachlan whenever he gets older and he gets to an age where social media might creep into his life, because I don't ever want him to feel like he has to compare his life to pictures online or to people online or to celebrities or to... So if I can help it, if I can, I will try and keep him away from it as much as possible, humanly possible, until such time where I think maybe he's strong enough in his own head to remain completely passive and closed off in a way where he can just observe but not absorb.
Yes, and that's such a good thing that you spoke about that, because I find that now people, mothers and just parents in general, aren't that intentional with social media. They're just giving their kids it and not even thinking about the implications, like in the future, of how that's going to affect their mental health, how even just their growing brains, how much it's like affecting the growth of their brain. And this is not me like putting other people down for like giving their kids iPads, no, to the point where it's just like constantly, you know, or like social media very young, like that's not what I'm doing. But you're so right in what you say, like you want to give them the tools to be able to like be objective with it, you know, and not
like just, you know, observe but don't absorb. And I have to tell myself that constantly, because like at times I do absorb it, and at times I do get caught up and I get down about it, and I have to take myself away from social media for a while to try and get my head back together again, and then return to it and just keep saying to myself, you know, just observe, just observe, just don't, you know, get too sucked in and you know, feel like... That's why, I don't know if you notice, like on my Instagram, like I have Instagram and I have TikTok, that's it. I purely go out of my way to be as real as possible. I don't put I don't like...
I love that about you.
I show the raw, like nitty gritty, flipping,
without makeup. I love that.
With no makeup.
I love that you do that.
With no makeup, like swearing like a sailor, and just normal things, because I think I find it refreshing when I see normal people doing normal things, normal life, down to earth things, rather than, you know, like these people like
the perfect life, you know,
Sunday restocking my ice drawer, all these different types of... I'm like,
I know.
Like, I'm sitting with my hair shoved up in a bun with fucking ketchup down my thing, and I'm like, realistically, who lives like that? I certainly don't.
Yeah.
And I don't know anybody that does.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? That lives a aesthetic life.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's the thing with social media, isn't it? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there is this sort of obviously there's a business to it and people use it for business, which is one of the great parts about it, because at least you're on it and you're doing something, like you're either getting like a paycheck or you're having an important message, so it is very useful and like positive. But I think people need to sort of make it clear, you know,
that's not real life. Do you know, it's not what normal people do on day-to-day things. The thing with social media is how fickle it is, though, because those are the like the aesthetic, the flipping adverts, the everything. They're the ones that get boosted rather than my wee stupid you know, like blog posts about how I hadn't shaved in months, you know, going do you know, shit like that there, because social media just wants to push it. It's all about capitalism, selling things, making money, making people feel shit about themselves so that they can spend more money to try and have this life which isn't real. Rather than being content with what they have.
Definitely.
Do you know?
Like the aesthetic thing, like I find that I love like aesthetic, and I think that's just my creativity, like my you know, with my Instagrams, like the one I had before, the one I have now, like I really wanted to make it really arty, you know, like motherhood, and show it like in a almost like a creative film perspective, you know, like putting filters on it, making it look very like 90s, because I kind of wanted to like have that, I don't know even know how to explain it, but
that vibe, that's
because I just found it so I don't know,
but that's your style, and that's
the creativity in me wanted that. So you know, when I was doing that, I had that in my head, like I don't want people to assume that I'm just putting out all like these nice things and like trying to make motherhood look like rainbows and you know, butterflies. So in my stories I would try to make, you know, it more real, like maybe my posts are a bit more aesthetically pleasing, but in my stories, like I don't want to be one of them people that's not one of them people, but I don't want to give the wrong impression, like life's perfect and motherhood's all like bacon, because I know I would post a lot of bacon stuff.
No, well, I mean,
you know?
like
so it's like getting that balance, isn't it? You don't want to.
I think it is good to show a nice balance, you know, normal life and also, you know, the nice parts of life.
Yeah, totally.
And that's fine, but that's the problem though. There's not enough people showing the normal, everyday things in their life,
and even just appearance wise, you know, especially now social media, like the amount of, and I'm not dissing people who want to change parts of themselves or get surgery or you know, because people do what you want to do, whatever makes you feel confident, like it's your life, so I'm not judging, but it's refreshing when I see someone who just is like embracing their look, you know. With me, like I always had a bit sort of, only as an adult actually, not growing up, like my nose, I would always be like, oh my god, my nose, I hate my profile, like, you know, way ideas sometimes, I would like, would I get surgery one day for a nose job, or you know, would I do that? And I wouldn't, because I believe it would change me, you know, and my character, and I think, but there is so much pressure to look a certain way on social media, you know, and only way to grow on social media sometimes is like you need to have that perfect look.
You need to look like that.
Perfect look.
And it's sad as well, because like I find, like I know that whenever I don't wear makeup and I do wear makeup, I look completely different.
Oh yeah.
I look completely different. And I know, and I'm not saying this to like get sympathy or for people to go, oh, but you are, like I know whenever I don't have my makeup on, I'm not pretty. I know I'm not. No, but I'm not. I know I'm not. It's a fact. And whenever I do wear makeup, you know, I do, takes me up to about a 6 or 7 out of 10.
You're a 10/10. Like,
I mean, like
inside night.
And it's sad as well, because see, even in public, I notice a difference when I go out without makeup on. People, you know, because I have acne and stuff, you can tell people are going, you know, it's not pleasing to the eye, as opposed to when I go out with makeup on. When I have my makeup on, people tend to be a lot nicer to you.
Isn't that crazy? That's really sad, actually.
It's so sad, and it like, it does affect me sometimes. There's days I can go out with no makeup on, I'm like, oh fuck it, I don't really care.
Yeah.
And there's days I go out with no makeup on and I'm just like, why, you know, why are people just like dirty looking at me? Why are people staring at my skin and how bad it is? You know, this is just the way my skin
but
is.
Then when you flip it, like, that is just your perception of what they're, you know?
Exactly.
So they could be looking at you saying, oh my god, she's gorgeous. Like, the fact that she can go out without makeup, you know, you don't know what people are thinking. And
yeah.
I definitely think as well with like the beauty, like you were saying about no makeup and things. Like, me and Johnny talk about this actually quite a lot. Well, not quite a lot, but like recently, how beauty is really, as you get older, you realize that like true beauty is like you're in your character and like how you hold yourself and just your like how smart you are and how real you are. Like that comes through more. Do you ever find that? Like, do you ever meet people you're beautiful, like perfect in every way, but they're really like shallow and there's not really any depth to them, and it just kind of,
they're beautiful but they're so ugly.
It's not interesting.
Looks aren't everything. I mean, whenever you see people that are like really beautiful to look at on the outside and they don't have much else, or their intentions aren't good, or they're, you know, they can just be bitchy.
Yeah.
Do you know, you're like, you know,
it takes the looks away.
It takes the looks away, and you're just like, you know what, you're just well-formed molecules put together, but you really have nothing else going for you. And I'm not saying that we aren't, I mean, I know for a fact, like, I'm not perfect. There's times where I've been a bitch. I know that. There's times that I've been a bitch, but I mean, I like to think as a whole, I am a good person. I try my best. I've made horrendous mistakes at times. Yeah. And I have been a dick at times. I know I have. But the point is, you know, for the most part, I do try
to be a good person. Totally.
Yeah, I really do try. I mean, that's why, like, I wear this ring. It's just a wee cheap one, and the silver's actually coming off it. You know, it's a snake,
right?
And the snake gets quite a bad rap, I think, because people use that nowadays as like, oh my god, there's such a snake.
Oh,
or like, there's a snake. Where the snake for me is a symbolism of like rebirth. Constantly, because they shed the skin, then they go off and they live their life, and then they shed again. You're constantly shedding, you're constantly revamping, you're constantly, you know, getting rid of the old, embracing the new.
Yeah, you're never the same. You're always
never the same. You know, you make mistakes, shed it off, do better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I sort like, I love the symbol of the snake. Yeah. I'm a house Slytherin.
I love that. That actually leads me on to like your message. Like, what I always think about this, like, what would you want to like leave behind almost, or what message would you want your kids to always remember? Like, that's very hard. Actually, it's very hard. But the gist of like, what would you want them to always know, you know, and always remember in life? Like, if you were to give them advice, or what one thing from just your experience to this date, because this may change in 10 years, you know, but this is you right now, the Luca now, what age are you? 33. So right now, like, what would your sort of message be to kids and your kid, you know?
That is such a hard question, because there's so much I could say.
Yeah, totally.
There's so much.
What would just come to mind first, probably, or what? Even just recently, like, what any revelations or any?
Always be truthful. Always be truthful, even if your voice shakes. I saw that.
Luca.
I saw that quote somewhere.
Oh my!
I saw that quote somewhere years ago, and it's always stuck with me, and it's always been like, always tell the truth, even if your voice shakes. Always tell the truth, even if it, I don't know, you end up looking like a fucking asshole, or even if you end up maybe losing people, or see, as long as your intentions behind telling the truth are good, then always speak the truth, even if your voice shakes. Always stand up for yourself, and always never be afraid to question things, never be afraid to just, you know, just like, what's the phrase or the word I'm looking for? I never want Lachlan to be afraid of anything.
Yeah.
And even if he is afraid of something, to fucking face it.
Yes, like I love it.
Do you know?
Love it.
Like I make him say most days, and he sits like this when he's doing them, but I always make him say these, like I always say, I am strong, I am brave, I am powerful, I am loved, my mummy and daddy loves me.
Yeah.
Say it every day so he remembers. And you know, even if something happens, I'm like, tell the truth, you're not in trouble, just tell the truth. And if you have done something wrong, fucking tell the truth.
Yeah.
Always tell the truth. Do you know?
Powerful.
That
was my message too.
That's
why I was like, oh, I love it, because that is,
yeah,
like, it's all about your voice.
Oh yeah, even
how powerful it is and how important it is. Like, you want your kids to always remember that what you have to say is important. Like, letting nobody take that away from you. You know, like your truth is your truth, and don't let anybody in this world try to tell you that what you're saying is wrong or not right or not true. Like,
and even if you're shitting yourself while saying it, and your voice is shaking while you're saying it. Keep speaking. Keep speaking.
So powerful, especially today in this world. Like, our kids need to know that, because it'll get them places and they'll feel brave because they know. Like, if we are teaching our kids how important their voice is, like, can you imagine when they're adults, you know, the things they're going to encounter in life, just the hard times, and if they know that their voice is important and to speak up, like, I mean, that's what it needs to be about.
And never be afraid.
We probably got that.
No,
you know?
we didn't.
Only till we're adults.
Yeah, not until we're adults. We grew up in very much a generation, I think, where the children were seen and not heard.
Yeah.
Do you know? And like, I know I did, and you know, to a certain degree, you can still apply that, because realistically, if you ask a 3-year-old what to think of something, they don't have the cognitive ability to make decisions on their own in certain degrees. So if they want to go and run off in front of that car, you're going to grab them and go, you're fucking not. Do you know what I mean? So to a certain degree, yes, but I mean, I would like to think that Lachlan has very much, he's allowed to question things. He's allowed to speak. He's allowed to have an opinion. We ask him, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And
kids naturally have that, and it's only as they get older, society and your upbringing and everything else, like, takes that away. Like, you know, makes you doubt yourself a lot.
Definitely. Doubt yourself constantly.
I want that for our kids. Like, do not doubt yourself whatsoever. Be brave and be bold, because in life you're going to be tested, I think, you know, and there's going to be people that are going to make you feel like you're crazy,
make you feel like you're crazy,
valid.
Make you feel like you're crazy, invalidate you, and also as well make you doubt your own abilities, make you doubt things, to make you doubt your ability to do things for their own personal gain. It's almost like to try and like put you down so they can succeed. Honestly, that's just, I want Lachlan to just never be fucking afraid. Just fucking push through. And even
just
when
you're
go
afraid,
for
keep doing it.
Exactly, because I never want to ingrain anxiety in him. Do you know? Like, if he's too afraid to do something, I want him to still try anyway, because each time you try, your anxiety gets less and less and less. And never just run away from something just because you're too anxious to face it. The more you face your anxieties, the less anxious you become. So
and the more you run away, it never leaves. It's always there. You know, it just follows you until you confront it and say, hold on a second.
Exactly.
I love it. That's a really good message to leave. I love it.
And just no matter what decision he makes, no matter what path he takes, no matter what type of person he turns out to be, that literally, you know, my love for him and Josh's love for him is completely and utterly unconditional. There's nothing he could possibly do or say or be that would make me not proud of him, love him any less. Nothing. I don't care. He can I don't know.
I know what you mean.
He can just do or be or whatever he wants, and I'll still be, that's my boy. That's my boy.
Totally.
Like,
I'll be like, we'll be like that when they're older. That's my boy.
That's my boy.
Oh,
It was, we were actually, I don't know, do you watch RuPaul's Drag Race?
No.
The drag queens?
No.
Do you like drag queens?
I can't say I do, but not in a way where I'm like, I'm against them,
Yeah,
but
you
I
just haven't
don't,
seen
I don't
anything.
really get, you know, I don't really see
They're
their
hilarious.
stuff.
They're hilarious.
Yeah.
I love drag queens. And do you ever ask Johnny really obscure questions? Like,
All the time.
if I was a worm, would you still love me? Do you know, shit like that? And anytime we watch RuPaul's Drag Race, I'll always go to Josh. Josh, like imagine Lachlan grew up and, like, say he was gay and he became a drag queen. Like, how would you feel? And Josh goes, yeah, if he did on it, I'd fucking love that. I would be like, I'd be at the front of all of his shows. I'd help him dress him, I'd buy him his wigs, just stuff like that there.
Wow.
Equally, if he grew up to become, like, I don't know, a policeman, a fireman, a teacher, doctor, whatever, I would just be
You'd love
like,
them no matter what.
I'd constantly be following him with a big, like, sign behind him going, my baby. Or like an arrow pointing, I need this.
Oh my god, we're totally gonna be that mummy, aren't we? Stalking them.
He'd be like, right, can you go away? Mummy, I'm at work,
Leave
can
me
you go
alone.
away?
No, seriously, we're like their biggest fans.
Oh yeah.
And it's so amazing that we're like that, you know, because
I don't know how
I
anybody
couldn't be like that.
I don't know how anybody can look at their child and not be proud of them.
Oh, I know.
Not be
In
in
awe.
awe, or like when you hear all these people like disown their kids and like reject them for certain choices that their child makes. Your child is not you.
Yeah.
Yes, your child came from you.
Yeah.
But your child isn't you. They're an entity on their own and they're gonna be different from you. So you have to accept that and accept them for the person, the individual
that they are.
They might take inspiration from you. They might have certain traits of yours, but they're not you.
Yeah. And we can't own them. They're not ours to own. We're literally, I remember reading a quote and it was like, you know, you're basically, they're only with you for like, what is it, like 18, 20 years, and then they go off into the world, do their own thing. So like, we don't own them. You know, they don't owe us anything. You know, do you know, like some mummies say like, I brought you into this world, you know, like you owe me something. Like, I think that's just awful because it's not true. We don't owe our parents. The only thing we owe is like the love that we have.
It's just to be there for them.
And be there,
be their safety, like net, be their safe person, their safe space for whenever the shit hits the fan. Or
we'll always be there for them. No matter what.
I hate that mindset of like, I gave birth to you, I fed you, I hate that. It's like,
so you owe me. You know what, that pain I was in, you owe me.
Yeah.
Like, how wrong is
like,
that?
At the end of the day, like I didn't fucking choose to be here.
Exactly.
Do you know what? You shouldn't make a child feel like they should be grateful for giving them the basic things that kids require, which is a home, clothes and food. Yeah. Because they're just literally the basics that kids need.
Oh yeah. It's like,
you shouldn't make them feel, you know, guilty or grateful for those things. It's
totally.
Kids don't owe us anything. Lachlan never owes me anything. I chose to have him. He's here because of me. So, you know, that's just the way it is.
Totally.
Yes, I'm going to teach him. Obviously, it's important to be grateful for things in life.
Yeah.
And not to be a brat.
Oh yeah. I'm going to raise them the best.
Aye.
We know.
But like that whole mindset.
I don't expect them to, like, you know, owe us anything.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I keep looking at that because I'm like, I hope it doesn't, you know, stop and then all this is lost.
I hope it doesn't like take up too much like memory on your phone or anything.
Well, I actually got a new phone, so should be okay.
Should be okay.
But I don't even know if I was in that, you know, in the camera.
Oh no, you were.
Yeah.
Because I glanced a few times as
Did
well.
You?
One,
I
was
double check.
checking that my hair was okay and checking that we were both still in the frame.
No, but I really appreciate you coming. And,
thank you.
And it's funny because I feel like this has been like we've been waiting to like sit down and have a wee conversation like this and like do something like this. Like it's been kind of there all the time.
Yeah.
Like I think we spoke about this maybe like a couple of years ago too.
Yeah.
About doing something like this.
There's just people that I think you can just talk about anything with complete and utter non-judgment.
Yeah.
And complete open-mindedness. And even if you do disagree, it's quite because too many people take offence when you disagree now.
Oh my god. Yes.
And like
cancel culture.
Cancel culture. And then you have to say, like, you know who you can sort of gently disagree with and be open-minded with, and there's people who you can't disagree with because they'll be like,
yes, yeah,
you know, so you have to approach it
like walking eggshells a wee bit.
like, I'm sorry, but I have to really respectfully, gently, you have to say that.
And I feel like I have to do that, you know, with this video, you know, you kind of have to say that, you know, like, I'm not judging anybody, like, this is my opinion, like, anything, because no matter, you know, nowadays anything you say can be taken out of context, or like even just, you know, be perceived in the wrong way. So I find that I'm sometimes having to justify and make sure people don't take it the wrong way. But I think that's just the way society is now. Like, you're afraid to say boo, you know.
It's
and it
a
should
sad
be like
way
that.
to be.
It should be raw, and just because my opinion is different from yours doesn't mean you're wrong and I'm right, or it doesn't mean that like you're bad and I'm good, you know. And
and it doesn't mean
take what you
take what you want from it,
and then
leave the rest.
Leave the rest.
And it's just like, you can disagree with someone and not wish them any ill will.
Yeah, totally.
You can be incompatible with someone and not wish them any ill will. Do you know, life doesn't have to be so full of malice all the time.
Definitely not.
So
we don't have to agree on everything.
No,
but
definitely not.
So I'm so glad we done this.
I'm so glad too.
And I'm so grateful, like, you know,
took the time out for asking me, because I was so buzzing whenever you said about it. I was like, yes, absolutely. Yes.
And you were the first person that came to my mind. It's not crazy. Like, I know we don't meet up, and you know, we're friends on social media, and I'm actually really glad that we did connect like that on social media, because I've came to you like so many times, like, and confided in you, you know, and trusted you,
and
like,
equally I've confided in you as well.
That we just felt that connection without having to like meet up like this. You know, and I think that's just amazing that you've got that energy about you, and that is so lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, but I think that's good, because that's it was actually something Nicole Richie said one time about friendships. You know, when you get to an adult and life goes on, friendships become less, what's the word I'm looking for? Less needy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to text all the time, you don't have to meet up all the time. A friendship is there when you're an adult, for when, you know, adulting gets too hard, shit hits the fan, and you know you have friends there that you can go to in your hard times. And also to just meet up as and when. You don't have to be in each other's pockets all the time. Do you know? And at least then, you, like, I mean, some of my closest friends, we don't see each other all the time. Do you know? But when we do see each other, it's as if we've never been apart.
And that's how you know that they're the real, like, truest ones, you know, because it doesn't change. Feeling's always there.
Definitely.
And like, quickly before we go, like what you were saying there about friendships and things, like, I found that, like, over the years my friendships have changed with people, and I've found myself feeling like, well, if we were really friends, we would be talking the way we always did, and I had this idea what friendship should look like. And because it wasn't that way, you know, we weren't texting every day or ringing like we used to, like, I just assumed that, like, our friendship wasn't real, or wasn't what I thought it was. But now, in retrospect and looking back, I'm like, this is what, like you said, this is what friendship is. Like, we're not meant to text every day, we're not, you know, we're just there for when, because we all have our own lives and our own families and kids, and life gets in the way. But as long as you have that, like, one person, that like person you can go to, or just people, you know, friends, like, I think that's what it comes down to. And
definitely,
now I don't hold that against friends. Like, I was probably not resentful, but like, why are we not the same? But now I'm like, you know,
you understand why.
I understand.
And other things take priority, and it's not that you're not important to them anymore. You're still very much important. It's just, I think things change, and when you get to an adult, it's like when you need your friends, you know, like, there's a time you really need them, and there's a genuine sort of need for it. Do you know, whether it be an event or whether it be simply just to get away for a while. And they're always going to be there. Friends are people that are there no matter what.
Totally.
Whether you talk all the time or don't. That's my view on it.
Yeah, that's my view too. But anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. I was like, 45 minutes will be perfect.
There's an hour and a half nearly. Oh, sure.
And you know what, I don't even know if I want to cut, you know, like, bits out, or I just want to keep it the way it is, you know, because then it just feels more.
That's fine.
Yeah, the only thing is my location. I don't know if I want to keep that. I don't know if I can take that out.
The location?
You know, location, like, of me talking at the start of like where I live, and I don't know if it's something I should take out. But anyway,
maybe if you can
blur it?
blur it or bleep
Can you
it
do
out.
that? Bleep it out?
I think
Sure
I think you can. I think you can.
Yeah.
Or even if you do just like
Even like crop that wee bit out.
Aye.
I suppose you could do that too.
yeah.
But
that's
no,
fine.
thank you.
No,
I
thank
actually,
you.
You know what's funny? I actually got you like a wee
Did you?
flowers.
Oh my god! Oh, thank you so much.
I just thought, you know,
Oh,
like we never
love
give
flowers.
You know, we never give each other like wee flowers.
I know.
Don't we not? We
No.
always get them when we're not here. So I'm like, no, I want like
Oh,
really to feel.
thank
I know
you
it's like
so
a wee
much.
small
No, I love
gesture, but I
flowers.
just
I love
think
flowers.
women should be getting flowers all the time.
I
Because
love
we're
flowers. If I could, well, we're actually in the process of decorating at the minute. So whenever we get all the fruitery bits done, like wee shelves, wee tables, I plan on having plants and flowers everywhere.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, these are lovely. Thank you so
It's
much. Yes.
just so lovely.
Oh, thank you. And yes,
thank you.
even if we're not recording this, we should definitely do this again.
Oh, totally.
Definitely do this
I
again.
have to.
And I can't wait to see like what the series is going to be
I
like and all the
know,
different
I
mums,
know.
because I'll be there watching everything.
I know. I have no expectation. I'm just going with the flow. And I think that's the best way, because I think if you get too into it in my head, then it ruins it. So I'm like kind of just like, let's just do it, like, you know.
Yeah, just
See where it goes.
definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
thank you. I'll turn it off now.
bye. Thank you.